I was in darkness, and you brought me light. For centuries, light has been a central theme in art and literature, a thing to be greatly desired and cherished. For most of man's existence, true light was limited to the daylight hours. The feeble substitutes of the night, firelight, oil lamps, or gas, provided limited relief from the encircling gloom of night. By the late 1800s, electricity began to provide true light to dispel the gloom, and in the cities and in some larger towns, people began to be freed from the darkness of the evening. For the residents of many rural areas and small towns, there was no such relief. In the mid-1930s, the people of Kane and Garfield counties, stretching from Mount Carmel to Escalante, had no central station electricity system and little prospect of getting it. They might visit friends and relations in Panguitch or Kanab and marvel at the bright lights, only to come home to darkness. They had lamps, and there might be a generator at the church, or very poor local systems in Orderville and Escalante, but there was a world of darkness when night fell. For the housewife, the world was a world of drudgery, a world without electric refrigerators, stoves, washers, dryers, or irons. For rural citizens, it was a place of informational darkness, without radios to bring news to the area. There was no real way out of this pall of darkness and drudgery for them and hundreds of other rural areas until the establishment of the Rural Electrification Administration in May of 1935. Established first by an executive order by Franklin Roosevelt and then bolstered and enlarged by Congress, the REA provided both credit at affordable interest rates and the expertise needed to create a rural electric system. Citizens in the area, the bishops in Bryce Valley, farmers in Long Valley, and the Syrett family at Ruby's Inn saw the possibilities for their area and began organizing an electric cooperative. The early efforts culminated in the formal organization of the Garkane Power Company on July 8, 1938. The new company was a cooperative, the members working with their neighbors, as they had decades before in building irrigation systems, to build what they so badly needed. And once built, it was their system, run by their elected directors. The 20 members present at this meeting also elected officers and directors to set in motion the process of building an electric system. The first directors, 9 men and 3 women, were ordinary citizens, farmers, stockmen, storekeepers, and housewives. But with the technical help of the REA and the leadership of Bob Middleton, their first manager, they borrowed $177,000 and started construction. From diesel generators in Hatch, lines ran south to Mount Carmel and east over the Escalante Mountain to Escalante. By December 19th and 20th, 1939, the moment of turning on the lights had arrived. A big dedication program was followed by the actual lights coming on, one town and one street at a time, followed by a big dance at Tropic. We can little imagine the joy experienced back then as these isolated communities were brought into the modern world and began to enjoy the benefits many urban Americans had taken for granted for years. Garkane's leadership could have kept the system within its original boundaries, but they showed the vision that would characterize Garkane throughout its history. Less than 2 years after the lights came on, they purchased People's Power and Light Company in Wayne County. Under the leadership of George Teasdale Eckersley, that company had strung wire from Torrey to Casherm, but it was a marginal operation at best. World War II delayed the upgrades Garkane promised for the system, but by 1946 the cooperative had been able to upgrade the Wayne system as well as run new lines to Anemone and Boulder. The vision of Garkane's leadership, both under Middleton and his successors Lester Spencer and Reed Burr, led them to continue borrowing money to improve the system and to extend the blessings of electricity to more and more members over the next 20 years. Growth and expansion took